bit a big black bear, made a big black bear bleed blood. That one's hard.
Do me the sheet one more time.
I slid a sheet I slid, upon a slitted sheet I sit.
Wow. Hi, I'm Michael. This is our Around the Planet newsletter interview series. This is our fourth or fifth one, and sitting down with Troy Potter. Troy is a salesman at the Hyundai store, and the goal with all of these, as they have been, is just that we would get to know one another. I am passionate, and I believe that if I don't understand what you do, I will never be able to understand the frustrations you have or the challenges you have, so I won't be able to give you much grace. So the goal here is that we will foster just an environment where we know what everybody does. We've sat down with people in the office, in parts, in the lot. I missed another one. BDC. In the BDC. And now it's time to talk to someone in the sales space. Troy, you were willing to sit with us. So this is cool for me because I have known you for 2019 you hired on?
January 2020.
Okay, so a year and a half, and I know you, but I don't really know you. So that's kind of the goal. It's a win-win where we can get to know who you are, what you do. That's kind of my mantra. So tell us a little bit about Troy Potter.
Well, I'm a father. I have 4 girls, which in and of itself is a challenge.
Sure.
Surrounded by women at home. Girls. Can't see them as women just yet, but I've been a Christian counselor for 17 years, going on 18 years now. Been doing that with various organizations and churches, and so one of the questions I get asked is, so why are you selling cars now?
Yeah, so why are you selling cars now?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And I wish I had an answer for you. The real answer is I'm not exactly sure.
Okay.
Just wanted to try something different. Needed a job. I knew Adam I purchased a car here, I want to say it was about 8 years ago.
See, I knew you bought a car from us, but I didn't realize it was so far back.
Yeah.
Adam was your salesman at that point, not a manager, right?
So maybe it was 7 years ago, but Adam was the sales manager.
Okay.
And John Horn was my salesman.
Oh, little baby John.
Little baby John. And we hit it off right away. We had a lot of the same background, went to the same high school, and
cool.
Knew some of the same people. So yeah, I bought the service plan, and I was here getting oil changes or whatever, and every time I did, I came up and plopped down next to Adam, and we just would talk for an hour and a half and get the text or whatever that my car was ready, and off I go.
Okay.
But yeah, I was always impressed every time I came in. Like the first time I came in, it's like, hey, you remember me? And they're like, yeah, you're the Yukon guy, because I bought a Yukon.
Okay.
And so they just never forgot that that's what I bought. And I always thought, I was kind of impressed by that. Sure. Usually you're just a number at a dealership. And so we kind of built up friendship in early January of 2020. I was looking for a job, and just on a whim, I was like, I wonder if Adam's hiring. So I called him and started the 31st of January.
That's wild. We actually have a few over the years. So I've been here a couple of years, and we've had a few people that began as customers, and that, the phrase in sales is, like a referral's the highest compliment. It's always so cool to me when someone was like, they had a good enough experience as a customer at a car dealership.
Right.
We're not the Apple store.
Right.
It's not like, oh wow, I want to, so that's pretty interesting to me. I didn't realize it was so long ago, and that you had been here mainly through service. So you are selling cars. You are interesting. I didn't think about this because you have always sold in the new normal, for the most part.
Yeah, 100%.
I had sold cars at this point a long time ago. It was 2011, 12, 13, and I always try to put myself in the shoes of you guys. I think about, of all the things that have changed, the new normal is the biggest difference. You were there for COVID, and now you're here for post-COVID inventory. So it's been a real easy ride for you.
Right.
So I guess educate us all on what are the challenges, and I guess the wins. What are the hard things you have to deal with, and what are the things that really are rewarding right now in the car sales universe, I guess? It's kind of open-ended.
Sure. Yeah. Big question.
Yeah.
So I think for me, like you said, I'm in the post-apocalyptic, or rather post-COVID world, and so that's been my experience in sales, is just working in this situation, and we've not. I don't know. It's been weird. It's been either we're on fire, like the last 2 months have been,
Sure.
or nothing. I mean, I remember a day where apparently I'm the first one to ever be up from bell to bell. Not a single customer. It was
It's not a title you want to hold.
no. It was
As a marketer, that makes me cringe.
You're right. Yeah, it was pretty rough. I didn't enjoy it at all. But then I've had the days where sold 6 on one Saturday, and I mean, so I've been on all
Sure.
the extreme ends of that. So I think the challenges for me have been trying to figure out what this is all about. There's such chaos from busy to nothing,
Sure.
to trying to figure out where it is that I'm supposed to be.
Sure.
But it's been fun. I think one of the things I've really enjoyed about this job is being able to get to know people. Adam, my manager, would say that I spend too much time with my customers. Maybe not now, but at least when I started. And I think that's just my nature, is I spend time with people. But when they're done, after they purchase, or even if they don't purchase, they come back and take me out to lunch, or they'll send me things, or just, hey, just thinking of you type emails and
That's
stuff
cool.
like that, and a lot of referrals that way. So I like getting to know the people. Really, they're not a number to me.
Sure.
They're, friends. I've actually got a guy that I sold to that he and I are going 4-wheeling and then going shooting together. So
That's awesome.
It'll be a lot of fun.
That's like one thing that I sold before we were One Price, and you've obviously sold in a traditional selling environment, a negotiation environment, and it wasn't the end of the world, worst thing ever, but it was slightly more confrontational, just because it was kind of like that dance, it was like, well, who's going to move first? But one thing that I specifically remember selling cars was that there was never like going in for the kill in the One Price. You're slowly building a sale rather than getting a sale.
Right.
And that was one thing that I remember I enjoyed selling cars, where it was much more relational when you went to the One Price. So it's funny how you're saying, like, maybe I talked to him too much. If you go to like 1997 and we were at a dealership, I'm sure they would have been like, Potter, make a deal. Where now we just kind of, there is this relational selling, or whatever you want to call it. So it's cool to see. I mean, you see that with all the salespeople here. I just sat in on a orientation with a new hire, and he said, I'm not really a salesperson. I was like, you'll be great here.
Right.
What would you say are some things about you that would perhaps catch people off guard? Going back to I don't think we align with a lot of stereotypes of car dealerships, like doing this kind of stuff. Not a lot of car dealerships do this.
Right.
So I think you have already proven that you kind of break that mold. So what are some things about you that don't really align with the car sales stereotypes?
Well, first off, I'd say if you were a negotiation dealership, we wouldn't be sitting here. I wouldn't do that. I can't stand that, actually.
Sure.
So as a customer, I enjoy it. I enjoy the fight, but as a salesman, I would absolutely hate it.
Sure.
But things about me that probably very few people here know is held a state record for running under a 4-minute mile.
What?
Here in Colorado. Used to race 600 class motorcycles. Got hit by a drunk driver on my motorcycle. A lot of different things like that.
Keep going. You're just giving, these are all really cool things.
Extreme skier, skied with Warren Miller. Got invited to be on one of his movies back in 93, 92, back then. Okay. If you're not old, you don't know who Warren Miller is, but okay.
I think I'm just about to be old, though. I'm getting close.
Okay. He was an old ski buff film guy.
Okay.
Did all kinds of backcountry and hella skiing type stuff. yeah, I don't even know where to end that of what I've done. What's weird about me? There's
Last thing
plenty
that
there.
I remember, you have a background in some form of production.
Yeah.
I remember you saying that like the day I met you. You're like, oh yeah, my name's Troy, and I also know video stuff. What's the story behind that? Like,
Made a couple feature-length movies that were in theaters. Worked with Duck Dynasty on one, so we've done that, and then photography. And I've been a website developer. Done that since '99. Just dabbled in it for a few years, but saw a book on code. I was like, all right, this is my language. So I bought an HTML4 book and read that on an airplane on my way home from vacation.
people next to you are probably like, this guy's a genius.
Or a terrorist, one of the two. I'm not sure what they thought of me, but so I was reading that, and it was a fun book. So I got home and designed a website that night in '99. So that was kind of not very normal at that point.
Sure. I don't know if that
were-
qualifies as normal now.
That's true. But yeah, so make video. I was a photographer, videographer, website developer, graphic design, all kinds of weird
Your
things.
resume is a few pages, man.
Yeah, I had to cut it down to one page, so it was weird. I was in the military, did some pretty interesting jobs in the military. I was a cop, I was a security force, I was a crew chief on F-16s and the stealth fighter F-117, and I was for all intents and purposes, there's real no definitive term for it, but I was a anti-terrorism dignitary evacuation driver, essentially. So if something happened on base, I was called up and
You drive.
them out and get them out, and so it was a lot of tactical driving in that. It was a lot of fun. Really enjoyed that.
How would you say this tactical driving has helped you sell cars? It hasn't.
Yeah, well, yeah, right. It hasn't.
It has not.
No, we'd have to cut camera at that point to tell you, but
Well, Troy, do you have a lot more background than I thought you did, to be honest. So for me, this is really cool because cameras end, and I'll probably pick your brain on this stuff. And my goal, like I said before we started this, was just to get to know one another, because who would have thought? That is a remarkably broad background, and my hope is that someone will watch this and be like, I got to talk to Troy about X, and then someone that you don't expect comes to you, and all of a sudden you've got another connection in the dealership. So I know you just walked in and I grabbed you, so thank you for doing this. He's highly successful. He's very modest, but if you go over there, Troy's always at first or second on volume. He's got great CXE. So I mean, this guy does great work for the dealership, and he's an interesting guy, and he's a very nice guy. So appreciate it, Troy.
absolutely.
Keep an eye out. This will be in an email.
Cool. Been looking for it.
Awesome. Thank you.